Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Alfred Hitchcock Presents review. Today it is Season 1, Episode 16, You Gotta Have Luck, starring John Cassavetes as Sam and Marisa Pavan as Mary. And this is another very solid episode, and it's extremely well acted, which I think is probably the best thing it has going for it. And it's pretty fast-paced and has a unique twist ending. Unfortunately, you can say that there's a few issues towards the end of this episode, including perhaps the twist ending when you go into the episode further, but I will talk about that when I get there. So we start out and we learn that there's an escaped prisoner on the loose. He got out of prison somehow, and there's a search for him, and this man's name is Sam, and he will be one of our main characters. And the only special trait he has, so to say, is a tattoo with the letters M.A. On the back of his hand. And so we know about that, and then we go to a house with seemingly a normal couple, and there's a husband, David, and the wife, Mary, and she will be the more important and main character, and everything seems to be pretty normal. They seem pretty happy, and the husband's going over a shopping list, basically, that I would guess that Mary wrote up, and it seems like he's having a little bit of a hard time understanding some of the things that are on the list, but we're not really sure why. There's a lot of reasons this could be, but eventually he leaves and he's got everything, all the understanding he needs about the list. And so Mary's basically alone and she starts to bake. And of course we know what's going to happen. Our convict is looking for a place to stay for a little bit, and he comes and he has a knife with him. So he introduces himself to Mary, and she's pretty nervous naturally, and she tells him her husband's going to be back soon, but he says he knows that's not true, and he obviously wants help with his escape. We'll find out more about that soon. And the phone also rings at this time, and it's very notable that Mary seems a little bit slow to react to it. We're not sure if she's just nervous or maybe something else. But he tells her to answer it, but then he quickly gets distracted as he hears about himself on the radio. And then at this point he gets a little meaner. This guy has some very wild mood swings, which makes sense for the character. And he actually threatens Mary and tells her he could kill her because basically he's already doing a life term and this wouldn't really do anything, extra to him. So he kind of scares her there. Not a very nice guy, obviously. And then he makes a speech about how you have to have luck, which is significant to the end of the episode. And then we get a story about how he escaped, which only takes a few minutes. But I thought it was fairly interesting and added to his character. Also, at this point, it's notable that Sam is somewhat coming on to Mary, which I thought was a bit creepy and disturbing. But I suppose understandable for this particular character. Then he asks for some food, he's asking for coffee, things like this, and it's very notable that she's still a little bit slow to react. She seems to react better when Sam is talking directly at her, which will make sense at the end of the episode. So we go to the next scene, and there's still a search out for Sam. There's a lot of men still looking for him. And at this point, we go back to him and Mary, and he says he wants a gun and some money. She says she has very little money and that they don't keep any guns around. And it's kind of weird. He kind of just puts this aside for a while because the phone rings again. And again, Mary doesn't really react to it, and Sam tells her, "What's the matter with you? Answer it, make it seem kind of normal." And it is a call from Mary's mother, which will be very significant at the end of the episode. And she says she wants to talk to David, her husband. Mary says she's not there, but it's notable that she's obviously understanding everything that's going on, and Sam's telling her what to say. And eventually Mary hangs up, and Sam tells her she did a good job. She made it seem normal. Then there's this scene where a neighbor comes by named Mrs. Martin, and this felt a little bit like a scene to just try and amp up the suspense a little more, and it came across to me as more just filling time, honestly. I didn't really care for this scene much. I guess it was done okay. Basically, Mary just makes excuses to this woman to get her out of there. Eventually, she acts very rude to the woman, and the neighbor, Mrs. Martin, leaves upset. But it doesn't come back to the plot in any way, and it just felt a little bit out of place to me. Others might like it. It was an okay scene, I guess. Then, after this happens, Mary tries to lock Sam out of the house after he looks to see if the woman, Mrs. Martin, is gone. Of course, this doesn't work. He easily gets back in by using his knife. Shockingly, he's not that mad. He tells Mary that he likes her and, she shouldn't do things like that, basically. And then he wants a change of clothes, which makes perfect sense. So we go back to a very brief scene of the men looking for him. And when we come back to Sam and Mary, he has changed. And he asks her what time it is. And once again, she's very slow to respond until she can actually physically see him moving his mouth, I guess, which is very significant as we're leading up to the twist ending here. And basically, at this point, he wants her to go with him. He's getting ready to leave. And she basically doesn't want to go. She says she'll just get in the way. But he insists, and he actually slaps her and asks her if she was deaf. I have a little bit of an issue with this scene, which I will get more into in a second here. And basically, they're getting ready to leave. And as they get downstairs, kind of near the entrance to the house, the police come and they get him. And we find out that basically they were tipped off because Mary is completely deaf. She has been for a long time. And because she understood the phone call, what her mother was saying, her mother knew something was wrong and called the police from there, which makes sense. And basically Sam didn't have luck, or he's told he didn't have luck. Now, I do have a few small issues with the ending of this episode. The first one, I guess, isn't a really big deal, but I do think that you have to kind of just go with it. It seems a little hard to believe that this woman was deaf the whole time and was able to read this guy's lips this well under a stressful situation. It just seems a little bit convenient the way this is all set up. Some people might find it to their satisfaction. I thought it was fine. The episode did a good job of making it believable, but it just seemed maybe a little far-fetched at times. But the bigger issue I have is why give away the twist ending a minute or two before the end of the episode? The episode works very hard to conceal it, and then when Sam slaps Mary, he says, "What are you, deaf?" Why give that away? I usually don't question the writing on this show, but I thought that was a bit odd. But overall, this is another very solid, very entertaining episode with excellent acting, and I give You Gotta Have Luck a 4 out of 5. Definitely an episode to watch at least once. I think the first time you view this episode is probably the best. So a 4 out of 5 for You Gotta Have Luck, and as always, thank you very much for watching.